Why do we react anxiously or worry? Basically, there are two reasons. First, we want something we don't have. And second, we try to avoid what we don't want. In other words, fears of getting things we don't want and fears of not getting things we do want. The Stoics were sophisticated psychologists of the ancient world who practiced certain exercises for dealing with emotions like fear and worry. The following 5 Stoic exercises can help us here. First, create cognitive distance from the fear. Epictetus said, "It isn't the things themselves that disturb people, but the judgments that they form about them." The fears and anxieties we feel are not caused by external events, but by our opinions and judgments of those events. We cannot control many things in our lives. What we can control, however, are our reactions to events or actions of others. These reactions determine our attitudes, our outcomes, our relationships with others, and shape our lives immensely. The goal of this exercise is for us to change our opinion and judgment about external events. We may become anxious, fearful, or unable to act about external events. Or we can understand that these events are not within our control and then direct our focus and energy to the things we can influence. Changing our opinions and judgments about external events will affect our well-being and therefore our quality of life. As Marcus Aurelius already knew, "Today I escaped from anxiety," or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. Second, use the Stoic reserve clause. Epictetus reminded his students to perform every action with deliberation and a mental reserve clause. In essence, this means that in every action we are aware and calmly accept that we do not have complete control over the outcome. This can take the form of a reserve clause, such as the caveat "if nothing interferes," "if fate permits," or "God willing." This states that one is taking action, but at the same time one is renouncing making assumptions about the possible outcome of that action. We pursue a particular outcome with the caveat that we can only have a limited influence on the outcome. The Stoic reserve clause is about doing one's best, but not getting upset or afraid if the goal is not achieved, since it is then out of our control. This view helps us to believe that one should focus only on what is within our control, and this, as a result, takes away many unnecessary worries and fears. Epictetus said, "To make the best of what lies within our power and deal with everything else as it comes." Third, renounce to catastrophize. We all know it, many of our fears do not come true. Seneca already said, "How often has the unexpected happened? How often has the expected never come to pass?" Nevertheless, we imagine future crises and scenarios and exaggerate what psychologists call catastrophizing. Here we usually use emotional language and say something like, "This is an absolute disaster," "This crisis is going to kill us," or "I've been treated like shit." The opposite of catastrophizing is to reevaluate the situation soberly, rationally, and realistically. This alone will lead to a decrease in fear. We should try to describe the facts and completely refrain from using emotional language. This is where the "what now" technique can be very helpful. For example, we might lose our job because the company we work for wants to downsize. We then repeatedly ask ourselves, "What now?" I could lose my job. What now? My income base would be eliminated. What now? Unemployment insurance would kick in. What now? I could use it to bridge the time until I find a new job. This shifts our focus to coping with the situation and may soften the catastrophic thinking. Seneca wrote, What I advise you to do is not to be unhappy before the crisis comes, since it may be that the dangers before which you paled as if they were threatening you will never come upon you. They certainly have not yet come. Accordingly, some things torment us more than they ought, some torment us before they ought, and some torment us when they ought not to torment us at all. We are in the habit of exaggerating or imagining or anticipating sorrow. Fourth, anticipate adversity. The Stoics practice an exercise called premeditatio malorum, which means mental anticipation of adversity. According to the Stoics, we are to imagine losing what we currently possess or value, or anything that can go wrong on a given day or in a given period of time. In this visualization, we practice imagining various disasters or worst-case scenarios that could hit us as if they were happening right now. We ask ourselves, what is the worst that can happen? Here, we try to maintain a certain Stoic objectivity toward them, always distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. In this way, the Stoics say we rather value what we currently possess and do not take these things for granted. Paradoxically, avoidance or distraction would perpetuate anxiety, but by facing our fears will in effect reduce the worry they cause. No matter what disasters the Stoics imagine in this thought experiment, the result is always the same. External events are neither good nor bad, only our reactions to them make them good or bad. By anticipating possible setbacks in life, we further eliminate the irrational sense of surprise or shock that arises when setbacks occur. This can further help us increase our emotional resilience. In modern psychology, this is called stress immunization. Such visualization helps us as well by encouraging us to overcome our fears in advance, anticipate obstacles, and plan appropriate actions so that we can handle adversity much better if it should occur. Epictetus said, "We must undergo a hard winter training and not rush into things for which we haven't prepared." Fifth, live in the present. Marcus Aurelius said, "Each of us lives only now, this brief instant. The rest has been lived already, or is impossible to see." We get upset about our past, which we cannot change, and worry about our future, which in most cases will not be as bad as we imagine it to be. But the present is the only state we can influence. Ruminating about the past and the future takes us out of the here and now and creates worries, fears, and discomforts that only make us feel bad and don't really move us forward. If we think about it more closely, it doesn't make so much sense to worry a lot about the future or ruminate about the past. Seneca said that it does no good to evoke sufferings that are past and thus be unhappy now because you were unhappy in the past. It rather keeps us from living in the present moment and wastes our time and energy. Worrying will not solve our problems or change the outcome. It will only make us feel bad. If we are rather unmindful, we are not even aware of this process. Therefore, mindfulness can help us become aware of these thought spirals and to return to the present moment, which calms our minds and eases our fears and worries. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel. And more importantly, share the video with someone who can benefit from this content. Thank you and stay inspired.